Beijing answered the Trump administration with one-two punch. Tariffs on one more U.S. goods and a WTO complaint. The Chinese duties target more than 5,000 categories of U.S. products with two different rates, 5% and 10%. The tariffs take effect the same day as the U.S. tariffs due, September 24th.
重申一下，针对美方的
Here I want to reiterate that in response to the action taken by the U.S. side, China has to take necessary countermeasures to defend its own legitimate rights and interests and safeguard the global order of free trade. The U.S. action has brought new uncertainties to the trade negotiations between the two sides. Previously, we expressed our stance on China-U.S. trade issues many times, and I think it has already been made clear for everybody.
Well, on Monday, China also renewed its complaint against the new U.S. tariffs with the World Trade Organization. Last week, China asked WTO to authorize $7 billion a year in sanctions against the U.S. for non-compliance with the WTO ruling against the U.S. that China won in 2016. China said the deadline to comply expired last month. The WTO schedule for a September 21st meeting shows China intends to ask the WTO for legal authorization to impose this financial penalty against the U.S. Last week, the Trump administration said it had invited China back to the negotiating table, and Beijing officials said they welcomed the invitation but hasn't specified who would join the talks with the U.S. officials. According to the Wall Street Journal, Beijing is expected to send Vice Commerce Minister Wang Shouwen to D.C. Wang was in D.C. last month for a lower-level trade talks with the American officials, but he returned to China without progress. Although there is no confirmation that high-level talks will take place, but an informal meeting might. We have seen think tank experts from both sides meet in New York this week, and meanwhile in Beijing, Chinese and U.S. experts and business elites discuss trade tensions at the China Development Forum in Beijing. So both sides are trying to find a solution to break the deadlock. But there is a different perspective here in China. That is, China doesn't need to rush into an agreement with the U.S. A commentary published by Chinese media, Global Times, questions Trump's motives for inviting China back to the trade talks. Chinese pundits say that Trump might try to intensify the trade frictions with China to help his political party win more congressional seats in November midterm elections.